Okay, sorry, I was just recording this. Um, but yeah, so this is the Republic of Work Lunch and Learn series. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. In this webinar format. Obviously, they do the live lunch and learns beforehand, but now it's in webinar format for obvious reasons. So lots of different topics that are covered, and if any of you want to check out what else is on, you can visit republicofwork.com, and it's under the What's On section. So I'll just share my screen now, and we can kind of get started. I'll go through my presentation, and just in case anybody missed it, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat to the right, or there's a chat button at the bottom, and I'll answer everything at the end, just so we can kind of keep things flowing a bit. So yeah, let me just minimize this. My mouse doesn't seem to work. Okay, but so it's turning strangers into customers with Facebook. So Facebook and Instagram advertising is the best advertising opportunity that local businesses have ever had, and that really comes down to just the targeting capabilities that the platform offers. You know, never before have you been able to target just on your doorstep to only the people that you're looking to target. So for the cost that's involved, and to actually like really kind of like optimize your campaigns, see feedback, find what ads are working, find what ads are not working, and being able to manage your marketing or advertising spend in as efficient a way as possible. So our mission at Social Enviro is to help business owners who are struggling with social media understand and utilize its full power so that they can see clear results and can continue doing what they love. So our kind of philosophy is, you know, like for all the pain that goes along with paid advertising or social media, for businesses who just don't want anything to do with it, that's where we step in and help them. So the main outcomes today, the main outcome really is to understand how to use paid advertising to find more customers for your business. I suppose that's why you're all here, to learn more about that. To get a better overall understanding of social media and paid advertising, learn how to effectively run ads, understand your own funnel more clearly, learn why past campaigns have failed, and learn from mistakes that people have already made. So really it's just to kind of like expedite that learning curve so you don't kind of make the same mistakes. So introduction to Facebook advertising. So first and foremost, Facebook is an entertainment platform. 68% of people use it, 58 minutes spent per day. It's also a business platform. It's where businesses can actually like really have their online presence. It works as a 24-hour salesman. They can share relatable content, keep people updated about their stories and offers and everything else involved. It allows you to provide a real connection. So where traditional media was kind of like a one-way communication, now it's a two-way communication. Businesses can actually converse with their customers, on their social media, learn from them, and actually see how they're talking about their brand and the different things that they can tweak to improve their customer experience. And obviously advertising. So you can reach millions of people, you can target your niche, reduce your advertising costs, control your campaigns, and instant feedback and reports. Something that before all this came along was never possible. So really what we're talking about today is a sales and marketing funnel. And I suppose the first question there is, what is a marketing funnel? It sounds kind of like jargon, but if you kind of bear with me, it kind of makes sense, and especially when it comes to Facebook ad strategies. So what is it? It's the kind of the process of going from a cold audience or a stranger to a loyal customer who is going to purchase your products and repeatedly purchase your products. So at the top of your funnel, there's going to be loads of people who probably see your advertising. And then as you whittle down the different people are getting more touch points. They're learning about what you do. They're building their trust with you. They're creating a relationship with you. And then when they're ready, or when you put an offer that's right in front of them, then they'll convert into a customer. So really ask yourself here, like, what is your marketing goal? And how can you warm people up to your offer, my offer? So that's really saying, like, how can I turn a cold audience into a stranger, into a warm audience, or somebody who's actually going to be a customer? So these are some typical marketing funnel steps. So we're kind of going left to right here. And it's also, if you kind of like flip it, like, so it's vertical, it's kind of going down your funnel as well. So really the first one should be like a Facebook ad to free valuable content on your website or Facebook page. So this could be an ad, or it can just be organic content. But the goal here is to build up data on your website. So this is just free valuable content. You're not looking for anything in return. It could just be an article. It could be just information videos, just something that people might be like, oh yeah, I'll check that out and that'll be interesting. And you really want to kind of like deliver some sort of value here, so people don't feel like they've wasted their time going on or wasted a click. You're just trying to build up you're trying to build up an audience on your website, so that in the future you can remarket to those people who've already visited your website. And at the top, we're at the top of the funnel here. So there's lots of people here. Not all of the people who visit your website are going to become customers, but the type of people who are visiting your website have some interest in what you're doing. So they're more likely to become a customer than a random person off the street. So then what you want to do is you want to retarget visitors. So you want to warm up your audience with with some sort of free opt-in. So this is where kind of like retargeting people from the, that have visited your free value on your website. But this time you're going to ask them for something. It's just an email. So it's still free to them, but they just have to give their email. So they've probably seen your free valuable content. They got a lot of value out of it. And they're like, okay, yeah, I don't mind giving my email to get more value from this business. Once they've given you their email, then you can send them a follow-up email and give them another bit of free value, so that you're building that relationship, building that trust. They're probably not expecting an extra bit of value, and by the time you come around to offering a paid I suppose like a paid offer, then they're more likely going to convert, basically, because you've built up that trust and that relationship. And all through here you can retarget, and you're using your Facebook data to retarget people who've gone step by step, so that you're constantly hitting the right touch points at the right time. And I'll go through that in a bit more detail a small bit later on. So I suppose one thing to remember here is that you'll see results if you're patient. So there's lots of different things that you have to test. There's different kind of like setups and learning. But it's not kind of like a change your business overnight kind of thing. It's something that you have to put a bit of time into. You have to be open to learning and kind of like expecting that you're not the first ad you put out, whether you think it has brilliant text or image or targeting, or the setup for your kind of like follow-up is perfect. Like, you never know what exactly is going to work. So you have to be open to testing and open to trying to find what is actually what will be a winning ad rather than a losing ad. A winning ad obviously bringing back more money than you're spending, and a losing ad not bringing back enough. So this is kind of like the why Facebook advertising. So your audience is there. So this is where their attention is. This is where they spend a lot of their time. Even like when they're in the car, listening to the radio, probably on their phone, obviously not driving. They're even when watching TV or watching different shows, they're on their phone, they're on their social media. That's where they spend a huge amount of their time. So creative campaigns, huge opportunity here to be spreading your marketing and your campaign across, not just Facebook and Instagram, but if you run Google ads and you send people to your website, then you can retarget people who have visited your website from Google ads, but with a Facebook ad now. So you're following them around the internet, or even a YouTube ad. And everybody's experienced this. You go on and you buy a new pair of shoes or something, and then you're kind of like, oh no, maybe not. And like 5 minutes later, you're getting the same pair of shoes as an ad on your Facebook. Like, that's how it works. Traditional advertising, the return on investment is just clear here. Traditional advertising, you can't track it, you can't optimize it, you can't be as creative and test different things as you can with paid advertising. So and you can actually see exactly how much money you're spending and how much money it's bringing back, which is just kind of just like a no-brainer why it's more effective. And obviously competition. So there's really two ways of looking at this. If your competition are already engaging in paid advertising, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google, then they're already kind of like learning and optimizing, and if they're not already, they're probably going to find some sort of winning ad that they can find more customers with, and that could be taking customers off your business too. And the flip side of that is that if your competitors aren't running Facebook ads, then that's a huge opportunity for you to step in and actually kind of like get ahead of the curve. Okay, so where people go wrong. So this is obviously Facebook ads aren't perfect. There's lots of different little nuances they have to learn, but hopefully this little section here can help you figure out how you can learn a bit, how you can kind of like avoid those mistakes that people have already made. So the first one is stop boosting your posts. So you've probably all seen this if you run your own business or you're an admin of a page. You've probably seen the little boost post button down there. And basically what that is, it's a quick little button that businesses can click. It'll say like, okay, you can put like, 15 euro in and you'll get to be seen by, X amount of people. And that all sounds great. You'll be seen by 20,000 people and that sounds great. But the reason that you shouldn't be doing it is because it only focuses on engagement and not your campaign objective. So if your campaign objective is to send somebody to your website and collect leads, or it's to send somebody to your website and get more add to carts if you're an e-commerce business, or more purchases, the boosting post won't do that for you. All it's going to do is going to put your ad in front of as many people as possible, regardless of the relevancy, and the return it's going to bring to your business. Now, there is some targeting you can do, but nowhere near as much as you probably need to if you're building out your proper marketing funnel that we've kind of been talking about. You have no control over ad placement, so it'll just put it everywhere. This isn't like a massive thing. It's rare that we actually like select a lot of specific ad placements, but it's basically going to put your ad in the places that nobody really sees, and you're still going to pay for that. So the limited targeting options. So there's no detailed targeting, so you can't use your custom audiences or lookalike audiences, or even go into like multi-layered detail targeting. And obviously you won't give the algorithm enough to optimize conversions for. So like we said, like if you're trying to optimize your campaign for just say leads on your website, then it's not going to do that. It's just going to show it to as many people as possible. So here's an example of a boosted post. So this one reached 55,000 people, nearly 56,000. It got just under 2,800 post engagements. It got 3,300 clicks on the post, and I only got 141 link clicks to their website, whatever it is. So we can see here that the only thing it optimized for was the reach and the engagement, and that engagement could just be like, dead engagement, like people who are never going to become customers. When really what our goal was to get link clicks, and you can see it didn't do too well there. So the kind of what we do here instead is that we want to run our ads in Facebook Manager or Business Manager. Ads Manager is the derivative from Business Manager. But what you should do is go to facebook.com/ads manager. If you haven't already got a business manager set up, I'd highly recommend doing that. It's very straightforward. You're just putting in some of your business information, and then you can run ads in the back end of Facebook Ads Manager there. What you want to do is you want to select the campaign objective that suits your needs, whether it's to get messages, or even if you just want post engagement, that's fine. If you're just looking for some brand awareness. But the ones we usually use are the conversion campaign, or it's mainly the conversion campaign, or sometimes the messages campaign as well, if we're just trying to send messages or use chatbots. And obviously detailed targeting, you can put in your different detailed targeting, which I'll go through in a bit too. So here are some of the common mistakes. So some are worse than others, but we'll go through them. So bad grammar, you'll be forgiven if you have like one slip up here and there, but consistent bad grammar just kind of like shows that you're not really putting too much time into your ad. If somebody reads it and there's like loads of different grammar mistakes, they're probably going to be annoyed by that. Why should they read your paragraph or your ad if you're not going to put time to actually get the grammar right? If it's too confusing, so if there's just too much text, or the ad doesn't really convey what you're offering, then people aren't going to want to spend time deciphering it for you. If your offer is bad, so this is a huge one. Like, if you're going to capture somebody's attention on Facebook and you want them to convert into a customer, your offer has to be really good. Like, people have to stop their entertainment, scrolling, and see a good offer that they want. It could be that you're offering a completely unique side to your product, or that you're offering a really good deal. No understanding of audience. So if you put an ad in front of an audience that isn't relevant to what you're selling, so let's say you're putting girls leggings in front of only male only males from the age 50s and above, that's probably a tiny audience of people who actually want that, and Facebook are going to see like, these people aren't targeting the right people. We want our users to have a good of experience as possible on Facebook. So we're not going to show their ad to more people. Whereas if you do have great targeting and you target the right people, then your ad will be shown to more of the right people. So if the copy is boring and the creative is boring, then people just aren't going to stop scrolling for it. It's as simple as that. You have to have something that's snappy and catchy and will make people stop scrolling. It could be testing uses of different colors, different text, different videos, different first few seconds of videos. There's different things you can test there, but Just needs to be snappy, needs to be, you know, fast, needs to be kind of like usually colorful, just to get people to stop scrolling. Another thing people don't do is they don't use the feedback. So you know, we've kind of touched on it already. Paid advertising is, especially on like the likes of Facebook, there's so much information that they give back to you to help you see what's working and what's not working. If you don't use that information to tailor what you're doing, then, you know, then it's kind of like, what's the point? So you need to use that information. And towards the end of the slideshow, or, you know, the lunch and learn, I go through exactly the different, if this is going wrong, then this is probably why it's going wrong. So no clear goal. So if there's no clear call to actions, if it's not clear what your customer or your prospect should do in order to redeem an offer, then you can't expect them to, you know, like I said, decipher it and try and find out for themselves. And the last one is Facebook update their algorithm like once every quarter. Some updates are bigger than others and more relevant than others, but it's just good to keep an eye on them. And you can find that just by a simple Google search. Okay, so how to get better results. So this is probably, again, you know, a lot of why most of you are here, trying to figure out how you can use Facebook ads to get better results than what you've already been getting. So there's a few things we need to focus on. So one is the who. So you really want to be clear about who you're trying to reach and why they need your product or service. So really, like, you know, think about what you offer and what solution you're providing to what problem. Think about what's frustrating people, why your solution is going to help better their lives, and try and convey that in as simple terms as possible and make it as, like I said, relatable to your audience as possible. The more detailed you are with your targeting, the more effective you'll be. That's like what I just said. The more, you know, the better your targeting is, the more favorable Facebook will be towards your ads, and they'll show it to more of the right people. Whereas if you're, you know, if you're showing it to the wrong type of people, then they're not going to show it to as many, as they're not going to show it as much. Understand your audience in demographic and psychographic detail, and create copies that your audience can resonate with. They're here to talk to them. So that both of those points are really kind of just like talk your customer's language. Like we've all done, Joe, I'm sure a lot of us here have probably done, Joe, some bits of market research to hear, Joe, how our customers are talking about our product or the problems they're experiencing. And you should really be trying to like mimic how they talk within your ads, because if that's what your customers are saying, that's likely what other customers or other potential customers are experiencing. So let's just kind of like think about that for a sec. If we know that our current customers are experiencing this problem and this is how they're talking about it, it's likely other people who are similar to them and who are going to similarly be potential customers, that's probably how they're talking. So if we talk the same language as them, that kind of process of building a relationship with them and building trust with them is going to be a lot faster than, you know, kind of speaking different words, and it's almost going to be like speaking a different language. So that's always going to help. The where, so you can target people right outside your doorstep if you're a small business. I'll go through it in a couple more slides, but you can literally pinpoint your business on, you know, Facebook, you know, kind of like targeting map, and you can put in a radius around your business to say, okay, this is my serviceable zone, and this is only where I want my ads to be shown. Like if you're a plumber and you only have like a 20 kilometer radius, then you can put that in, and Facebook, okay, sure, we'll only show your ads to people in that radius because you're not going to service people outside of that. And you know, you can use both Facebook and Instagram to target different cohorts. People act differently on different platforms. Make sure to adapt your message. So not everybody acts the same. Like a good one I go to is like Facebook and Instagram versus like LinkedIn. Like we all know people on LinkedIn are very kind of like corporate. You know, it's very kind of much more corporate. So the language is very stiff. Whereas, you know, on Facebook and Instagram, it's it's been more kind of like loose. You know, people just act more like themselves. So your ads can so if you kind of like, I suppose, adjust your ads to kind of be more like that, then, you know, you're kind of, it's kind of like what I said in the last one, you're kind of speaking more of their language from what platform they're using. Another one is if you're operating in certain countries, you can select them independently. So like, you know, if you're operating in, say, the UK, Ireland, and Canada, you can just select those countries to target. And then the last one is you can target anywhere in the world with Facebook, research new locations, and see whether your product is a good fit. So for example, recently we expanded one of our e-commerce clients that was only trading in Ireland and the UK. and we expanded them out to the rest of Europe, and we also did the US, and I think Canada's kind of on the cards as well. But basically what that is that because of all the data that we were building up, and we were learning who our purchasers or who our customers were within the UK and Ireland, you can use different types of audiences to say, like, okay, if this is our customer and our purchasers in the UK and Ireland, then in the US, they're going to be fairly similar. They're going to be different. The messaging could be a bit different, but the actual type of person buying is going to be different, or is going to be similar. So what we can say is we can ask Facebook to kind of like pull the data from the correct people here and apply it to the correct people over here, rather than having to go and start from scratch in a new country and try and kind of like go through that whole, more and more ad spend to try and figure out who they are. Whereas we already have the data and we can just use this again in a new country. That's usually called lookalike audiences. I'll go through that in a small bit as well. Basically, lookalike audience, as the name might suggest, is like a lookalike audience. So we want a new audience that looks like a good audience that we already have, so we can apply it to another country. I'll go through that in a bit. The when. So look, Facebook ads can run every single day of the year. You should always have an offer or value to get people interested. If your business doesn't have something that you can offer potential new customers, then it's going to be a lot tougher to try and get them, on board with you. You really need something that's like an offer that's like year round, that you're, like, everybody will want. Like if you're like, say, I know a pizza restaurant, like your first ever order, you'll get an extra pizza free. Like, that's something that will attract a lot of people, and your business should have something like that as well. It depends on each business. Don't get me wrong. Like some businesses are uber successful and they don't need those sort of offers, but especially if you're trying to grow, then having something like that is good. With Facebook ads, start with a small budget, do some testing and see what works. Nobody's expecting you to spend €100 a day starting off. Just put bits and pieces together. You could start off as little as €5 a day and start building up some data and start trying to learn. The only caveat to that is, the more you spend, the more data you're going to collect, and the quicker you might see results. But there is a lot of learning still. It's not kind of like a quick fix or anything like that. Keep your content fresh. People ignore things after a while. Like if you run the same ad for months and months and months, people are just going to be scrolling on their phone, and eventually they'll see it so much that they'll scroll past it and not even know they've scrolled past it. That people become just stale to them. They stagnate. And if plan your offers and events. Don't rush your campaigns. Just plan in advance. That just comes down to kind of like, you can set up your campaigns. You can plan. You can get your videos ready so that when people, like for an event, you can have your video, your promotional video running, and then for people who have watched, say, 50% of that video, you kind of know they're interested to at least a good degree, so you can retarget them with a ad that is for actually buying tickets. And again, I go through all this in detail as well. The what. So be clear and keep your message simple to avoid confusing your audience. This sounds like obvious, but loads of businesses just don't know how, or it's not that they don't know, it's that they get confused with themselves of how the message should be. Ironically, I just scrambled that sentence up, but you get what I mean. Be clear and keep your message simple. Don't kind of like hide your offer in your text. Make it like loud and clear that if people are interested, this is what they can redeem. No need to be corporate. Like, there's different industries should have different tones of voice. Like, a local coffee shop could have a different voice than a lawyer, and they probably should have a different voice. But you don't have to be corporate the whole time, especially on like Facebook and Instagram. People are there to be entertained. You can loosen up a bit, just kind of have some fun with it, and build your brand's personality a bit. Be relatable, casual. That's pretty much the same thing. People want to engage more with a story and a brand personality than just engage with the business. And make sure you have a clear goal set out that your ad helps. Make sure you have clear goals set out and that your ad helps you achieve them. So like I said, if you want messages, or if you want leads, or if you want sales, make sure that your ads reflect those goals. Okay, and the why. So look, it's cost effective, super flexible compared to other methods of advertising. You can try different creatives, you can try different texts, You can split test between different ads. Basically, what that means is you can run identical ads against each other with only one difference. Do you remember, like in biology in school, like you'd run the experiments and you'd have like a control and you'd have like a variable? It's kind of like that. So you're trying to figure out what does better. So you might run exactly the same ad, exactly the same, literally everything, but you might change the image just to see which image runs better. And you can do that for all the different steps of your ads. It gives your business a competitive advantage, obviously, because if other businesses aren't doing it and you are, then happy days, because you're probably more effective in your advertising. It lets you be creative and design campaigns unique to you and your marketing goals. So there are restrictions in TV ads and radio ads and newspaper ads, whereas this, you can kind of go run wild as long as you're not breaking any Facebook policies. There's so much stuff that you can do with it. You can run videos, you can run text, you can run carousel ads. There's so many different things, like whatever you think might work or whatever you think would be good for your business. You have the opportunity to test it out. And the targeting capabilities are far superior than any other marketing platform. So like, like if you're running like a TV ad, you're kind of hoping, or even a radio ad, you're kind of hoping that your audience is listening or watching. Whereas with this, you can just target the people you know are quite likely to be customers. So where the traditional targeting is like casting a big net and getting a few little fish, whereas paid advertising targeting is like casting a small net and getting lots of big fishes. So some examples of effective campaigns. So these are kind of like cut down a little bit, but one example is running a Facebook ad that goes to a landing page that goes to a thank you page. And basically what you can do here is set up a conversion campaign so that when somebody reaches the thank you or thank you page, which is at the end, having given their email on the landing page or having paid for your service on the landing page, you can then tell Facebook to count that like as a lead or as a sale. And once you're building up that data with Facebook, you're telling them all this information, and you're helping Facebook optimize your campaign to find more of the people who are likely to become that lead or that sale. Another example is using Messenger. So you run a Facebook ad, you push it to Messenger, and you can go through either a messaging sequence or a chatbot, and at the end you can send them to a landing page. It's not even necessary all the time to send them to a landing page. You can still teach Facebook to optimize for different things with the Messenger, but it's just another option. So you can send somebody from a Facebook ad to your Messenger and then to your landing page, and you can keep collecting all different types of data within that, whether it's emails or whether you're kind of qualifying leads in the Messenger chatbot. So some examples of chatbot are you can actually create one within Facebook yourself, or you can actually use other things like ManyChat. One second. Throat's getting a bit dry there from all talking. Okay, so the power of the pixel. So a lot of the times when I speak with businesses and they haven't done too much advertising or Facebook ads, I ask them if they have a Facebook pixel installed on their website, and a lot of people seem to think that it's like a hyperlink on your website, so like a button that just brings you back to your Facebook page, like a social icon or social button, but it's not that. The Facebook pixel is a small bit of code that you put on your website that allows you to retarget those visitors with relevant Facebook ads. So let's just kind of like break that down a small bit more. So it's a small bit of code that you put on your website that allows you to retarget those visitors with a Facebook ad. So the people who have already showed enough interest in your business to visit your website, they're more likely to become future customers than just taking a random person off the street. So what the Facebook pixel allows you to do is create a custom audience so that you can only target that audience with a kind of like a retargeting ad. So maybe, like we said, remember at the start, we said that we send somebody to the website with like some sort of free value. And then we want to retarget those people with, say, like an email opt-in offer. Maybe you're giving them some sort of a discount for your restaurant, or maybe you're giving them some sort of free consultation or something like that. But the way you can actually get those ads back in front of the right people is using the Facebook pixel. And at the end, what I'll do is I don't think we're probably... I'd intended to actually like kind of like go through how to set up like a Facebook pixel custom audience and lookalike audience. But what I might do is I might just drop something in the chat where you guys can give your email. I'll just send you the videos for free. I'll just put that in the chat now, actually, just in case I forget. I'll do it at the end as well. Close. Okay, how do we get back here? Stop share. Okay, there we go. So if you want those videos on how to set up your Facebook pixel on your website, your custom audiences so you can retarget people, and your lookalike audiences so you can expand audiences to like new regions, or just kind of like scale up your ads that you find winning, you can just visit there and put your email address in, and I will I'll send them out, because I don't think we're going to get through them today. Okay, let me go back to my screen share. Hold on. Okay, we're back here. So yeah, basically that's what the Facebook pixel is. And why is it important? So like I said, it allows you to track how people go through your marketing funnel. So you can measure real world outcomes from your Facebook ads. So this actual kind of information section here is taken directly from the Facebook pixel setup page. So you can actually measure real world outcomes from your Facebook ads. You can optimize your ads for the right delivery or the right conversions that you want. You can build you can build the audiences as well. So what I mean by building audiences is you can build an audience for just your website visitors. You can build audiences for people who add to your cart, for people who purchase, for people who become leads. There's a whole array of different things that you can do, and it's definitely a great way to go, and something you should have installed on your website as soon as possible. Because even if you install your pixel now and you don't plan on running ads for another like 10 months, you're still going to be building up that data, so that when you do want to run ads, you can run them more effectively. The chat's kind of hopping there. Let me just run back to it. Oh no! Wait. I'm pressing buttons all over the place here. Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. So for the people, I'll take the emails from the chat. If you want to, you can click on the link from the message I sent, and go through that way. But if you just put your email in the chat as well, I'll still do that too. Okay, let me just jump back to my slides. Okay, we're back here. Oh my God. Sorry, every time I go into the full screen of my slides, my mouse disappears, so I have to jump back out and exit things again. Sorry. Okay, we're back. Okay, so here's just some like secrets to Facebook marketing. These are quite basic secrets for people who are very experienced in like Facebook ads. But if you're not experienced and you feel like you've made some of these mistakes before, then it'll probably be valuable to you guys. So one is location. So remember I was talking about the plumber who has a serviceable zone. So Facebook automatically have a 25 miles radius around where you're actually targeting. So that's their automatic one. But like, let's say you're like an inner city engineer or plumber, and you actually only have like a 10 mile, or 10 kilometer zone around you that you actually service. You don't want to target outside of that, but Facebook automatically does it. So what you should do is when you create your ads, and I can't move the mouse annoyingly, but you can, if you see there just above the map, it says Ballincollig, County Cork, and it just has a plus 25 mi for miles. You can just select that and bring it down to your serviceable zone, so that you don't show your ad to people outside that, and that you don't waste money, and that you're not reaching people and paying for people who will never be your customers. So this is it. So this is me going from the 25 miles down to the 10 miles. I'm just flicking back and forth so you can see the difference. So that's a huge blue circle there on the left, and that's a smaller blue circle on the right. So you can actually see like it's condensed down to your serviceable zone. Okay, so the next one, like you really want to get a good offer in front of, especially if you're just starting out Facebook ads and you don't have the budget to go like full scale strategy down the whole thing and pay for the whole thing, and you just want to like run a good offer. Like you have to do just that. You have to run a really good offer that people are going to be like, oh my God, that offer, I can't not scroll past this and not avail of the offer. Like I said, with the pizza one, it could be like a 2-for-1 pizza on your first purchase. It could be, let me think, like, it could be, if you're a hairdresser and you can say that if you buy, a highlight treatment, you can get like a free blow dryer or something like that. I don't know hairdressing well enough to actually know what's a good offer, but you get what I mean. But like, so sorry, the one on the actual ad we're looking at here is a bad ad. You know, it's dull. It won't get you to stop. There's no real information there. The call to action is a little bit like we don't really know what we're trying to learn more about. And you're going to be paying Facebook to not even, you know, kind of get customers in because the ad is just bad. So this is an example of like a good idea. Like you can screenshot this if you want, or you can do whatever you need with it to help you get there. It's probably a little bit more Americanized than like an Irish market, but you kind of get the idea. So there's a few different points here. So call out the audience, like, hey, Miami. So it could be like, hey, Cork, or hey, Ballincollig, or even like, hey, single moms of Ballincollig. You know, okay, that's probably a bad example. Hey, like, I don't know, just like, hey, food lovers of Cork or something like that, you know. And then they call out the pain. So back pain, neck pain, and headaches are no fun, right? So that's kind of like, you know, they're highlighting what their problem is with their audience. They're highlighting why, you know, they're kind of highlighting a pain point. They put a word, the offer in front of them. So that's the solution. They're putting a solution in front of them that's for them. That's actually like that, you know, they want it. So that's where you put your 2 for 1 pizza things in. Scarcity based. So, you know, if you want to, and it's always a good idea to have some sort of urgency there. So they only say there's only 37 places left. So if it's the 2 for 1 pizza thing, we can say there's only like 50 people. We're only offering this the first 50 people. So then obviously people are going to be like, oh no, I want to be one of those 50 people, and they click through to your offer. You know what I mean? So clearly focused picture. Please have a clearly focused picture. There's nothing worse than scrolling through Facebook and seeing a blurry, pixelated image. And one thing that isn't actually arrowed here is that you should have you can see that it's all kind of like they have a picture of their team there. You know, and people love to put kind of like names to faces. They love to be able to see somebody in an ad and go to the website and see the same person, and then when they visit them in person, they see the same person again. It's like a kind of a holistic experience, if that's the right word, where you kind of like see, you know, it's kind of going from like online to offline, and it all makes sense. It all kind of adds up, if that makes sense. And obviously just down there for the actual headline, you repeat the word, the offer, just so people can read it again and they might take action the second time. So this is an example of an Airbnb retargeting ad. So on the left-hand side here, you can see the different things that an ad needs. So the first one is to be visual. So it needs to be eye-catching, professional, and appealing. Professional, it should be professional, but it doesn't need to be like high-quality pictures. It just needs to be not lazy, if that makes sense. Like you can have like user-generated content. Like you're like if your customers make content for you and it's decent, you know, it's decent, then you can run that. It doesn't have to be professional in the sense that you need like the highest grade camera. Like we've seen a lot of time that user generated content works better than, you know, kind of higher grade camera content professionally made. Needs to be relevant, so it needs to be in front of the right people with the right message. So this is a retargeting ad. So Airbnb, they had their pixel on their website. They have it set up so that it's probably a dynamic creative. So they probably had for the people who were on their Airbnb visiting holidays or Airbnbs for the Playa del Carmen, they're probably putting this ad back in front of the people who have searched that or who have been on similar pages to that. The value proposition, so it needs to solve a problem for a group of people and be irresistible enough to make them want it. So this picture, you know, it does a pretty good job. You know, everybody will probably want to be there right now, sitting on the beach in front of that lovely blue water instead of being locked down for 8 weeks. But you know, and then obviously the offer is like from $260, you know, for however long it is. And then the call to action needs to be clear. I need to tell people exactly what to do. Like you might think like, oh, people will know what to do. Like people, you know, it's obvious what people will do. It's not. Like you need to tell people exactly what to do. That's why you have like the book now button down there, or you could even repeat what they should do in the actual text of the ad. So this is another example. This is just a newsfeed ad. This is probably for just kind of like prospecting, to kind of get people more interested to get them to the website. It's obviously for an e-commerce. It's for Fabletics. They do like yoga pants and stuff like that. But a good example here is like the side by side does pretty well. Like you can see they're comparing it from shopping mall leggings. Obviously it's American again. Shopping mall leggings to their own leggings. They're kind of like highlighting the different pain points that they might use. It's a video, we can't see the video, but they're highlighting why they're better, basically. And again, same points on the left, needs to be visual, which it is. It'll probably stop you from scrolling because of the side-by-side. People love to see the before and after or comparing. It needs to be relevant, so they're probably targeting the right people. Value proposition, so you can see up there, 2 leggings for $24. They highlight the sizes, and they're adding urgency there as well. So they're saying hurry, offer ends soon. So that's the urgency there. And the call to action, I think I've actually cropped it out of the slide, but they have their buy now or shop now button below it. Okay, so the quick tutorials, this is what I was going to go through, but we're kind of so this slideshow was longer than I expected, but what I can do, like I said, is if you haven't already, drop your email in the chat or drop it in the link that I put first in the chat. You can go to, it's literally just one of our web pages that you can just put your email in. It's very simple. Okay, so let's try and apply all these typical funnel. Okay, so this kind of doesn't make sense anymore, but it will make sense. I'll make it make sense. Okay, so let's go back to our funnel. After all that we've learned here today, let's go back to our funnel. So what you put in front of them. So at the top, we're going to put our like free website content or blog posts or tutorial videos or info videos, just around the awareness engagement kind of area. We want people to kind of start engaging with our brand. We're not like running up to them on like on like Patrick Street and saying like, hey, but like buy our product, like buy my mixtape. Like that's the analogy I always go back to. Like if somebody came up to you on Patrick Street just saying like, hey, buy my mixtape, and you don't know them, like you're probably not going to buy their mixtape. 1, because you don't know them. 2, because you don't trust them. 3, because you don't know whether you like the music. You don't know whether there's actually going to be music on the CD, and you're not going to part with your money. It's the same with your business. You can't expect, especially if it's like more higher involvement businesses, you can't just expect to put an offer in front of someone and expect them to flock to you. There needs to be this kind of like building relationship. And as we go down our funnel, we're building relationship. So the first bit, like I said, free website content, blog posts, tutorial videos, info videos. Then you want to retarget website videos with more free value, with often offer, email offer. So you're kind of seeing that you're expecting more and more of people as you go down, because you're building a relationship as you go down, and because you've already started high with giving value and you've given more value, and now you're kind of like, okay, if you found value from these, now you're probably, and if you want more from us, then you can pay for it. That's kind of what we're talking about. So yeah, then you retarget people with your website visitors for more free value, with an often offer. So they give you their email, you send them their free value, you follow up then with more free value. So they're like, oh God, these guys are really good. Like they're giving me more free value than I expected. And you can retarget this list as well. And then, yeah, you retarget the people who are coming down. I should have had like arrows or something here, but basically you're retargeting each stage. So the top stage to go through to your website. The second stage, you're targeting people who have gone to the first stage. The third stage down, you're targeting people who have gone to the second stage. And the last stage, you're targeting people who've gone to the third stage. So you're kind of just like hitting the right people at each stage. Because you don't want to like be putting your paid offer in front of the awareness people. You want to be putting your paid offer in front of the people who've been happy enough to give you their email. And obviously then when they have paid for it, you deliver on your service, you over deliver, and that will lead to more business because you're getting more referrals from them. You're expanding your offer, you're upselling. So like if, I don't know, like if you're going to build a website for somebody and they're really happy with the work you've done, and you say, okay, look, we can run your paid ads for you, then, they're more, if you're doing a great service on one end, they're more likely to trust you with something else as well. Yeah, so the different audiences and intent. So think of like their intent on buying here. So at the top, they probably have a low intent of parting with their money with you. But as they go down, as the trust builds, they're probably more likely to be okay with parting with their money, because they want that value that you can bring. As they give you their email, they're probably their warm audience now. As they give you their email, they're a warm audience. So people have had some interaction or exposure with your business. And then obviously once they've given their email and they're happy with the value that you've given, then and they've had multiple interactions. They say it takes something like 7 different touch points with a brand before people are comfortable parting with their money. But once they get to that stage and they're like a hot audience, they're very likely to convert. Okay, how to target each stage. So the cold audience, you kind of want to go broad, but if you know audiences that work, then go narrow too. But just make sure to split test everything. Remember what I said split testing was? It's like the science experiment in school. You have all the same different ads against each other, and you're just kind of like testing one variable. And you don't have to just do one. You don't have to just test like 2 ads. You can test like, like 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 ads, all the same, but they all have a different like video, or they have a different image. And then you can find which ones are working and which ones aren't. Facebook will tell you, okay, these ones are getting good results if you set up your conversions right. And then you can turn off the ones that aren't working, and you can keep on the ones that are working. The warm audiences, so this is where the custom audiences look like audience come in, which is what I'll send you in the email. Again, just in case you missed it, drop your email in the chat or use the link that I sent in the chat, and I'll send them over. So the website view, actions, page likes, engagers, drop off, laser focus targeting. So this is where you're kind of like using your custom audiences or lookalike audience to get back in front of your website visitors. Like I said, we're trying to target at each stage, we're just trying to target the stage before. And then the hot audience, so this is your subscribers or your leads or your specific page visitors. Do you remember how I said like we're trying to target? Do you remember how I said one of the campaigns was going from a Facebook ad to a landing page to a thank you page? If people reach the thank you page, then we can count them as a lead because they would have had to give their email to reach there. But let's say somebody gets to the landing page but doesn't give their email, then we can still say to Facebook, okay, we want to target people who have visited this page but not the landing page. Who have visited the landing page but not the thank you page. And we know that those people then have a high interest but didn't follow through. And then we can just put another Facebook ad back in front of them and say, hey, you kind of did you forget, or were you interested in kind of like getting this offer still, just to kind of get back in front of them, like maybe the dog needed feeding or the doorbell rang or something like that. Okay, so this is I think third last slide, I think. So this is just a fitness industry example. So this is just kind of like what people can offer at different stages. So at the top, you can offer like free home training workouts, exercise tutorials, meal preps, blog posts. Use this at your own discretion as well. Like you can switch these around depending on how much value you think you're going to bring. So for the lead capture, so to actually get people's email, you can say, okay, in exchange for email, you can join one of our free online classes or webinars. Or if you give me your email, then I can I'll send out an ebook on different home exercises or recipes, that kind of thing. And then for the paid offer, you can say, okay, look, if you found enough value from the home training workouts, and then when you gave your email, you found enough value from the ebook, then you might be interested in this paid offer. So you're kind of see how we're kind of like warming people up. So it's free, and then it's kind of like half free, and then it's not free. So you're kind of like warming people up to what you offer. Okay, and this is the second last slide, I think. So why your ads aren't working. So this in my opinion is probably one of the more valuable slides, because it'll help you at different kind of like bottlenecks of your ads to actually like help figure out what's working. So like, look, if you're not getting enough clicks on your ad, then your offer isn't good enough, or your copy doesn't entice enough, or your creative doesn't catch your audience attention. So it's either that you're 2-for-1 pizza and you're trying to sell like buy a pizza and get a free topping. Like no, everyone's going to no, I'm not too bothered about that. But if you say buy pizza get one free, they're probably like, yeah, actually, you know what, like that's a good offer. If your copy doesn't entice, so like if you're not kind of like building, hyping yourself up or hyping the offer up, then or you're not really talking about your audience's pain points. Do you remember like we said that like back pain, neck pain isn't good, and then you're putting the solution in front of them? Like that's a great start. Like even if you can just figure out what pain point your audience or your customers experience, and then just position yourself as the solution. And if your creative doesn't catch your audience's attention, so like I said, remember we went through like the boring images and stuff, just like have something that'll stand out. Again, that'll take some testing, but definitely worth testing. If your clicks are costing too much, your relevancy score is too low. So remember I said that Facebook want your ads to be in front of people who are relevant to the offer that you're putting in front of them. But if you aren't, then you're basically putting your ad in front of, say, 10,000 people, and it only applies to 100 people. So you're paying to be seen by 10,000 people, but you're paying for the full 10,000 people when only 100 people are relevant. But like, let's say you put it in front of 1,000 people and 100 people click, then you're paying less, so your cost per click is going to be less. Poor messaging, poor targeting, not relevant to the audience. Kind of gone through that already. Just kind of the same thing what I mentioned. Denied ads. So Facebook have a 20% text rule. So that means that in your creative, your image or your video, if there's more than 20% text on it, then Facebook will either not allow it to run or they'll show it to less people. So just make sure it's less than 20%. If you Google Facebook 20% image checker, you'll be able to find, you can put an image up and it'll tell you how much percent it is. I should have these links, but I forgot to get them together really. And if it's against the policy, so like one thing in the fitness industry especially is that if you have like a before and after image, would, obviously they just don't allow before and after images because it makes people feel bad and stuff like that. So there's not too much that's against policies, but you just can't be like hugely misleading or anything like that. Okay, last slide. So if people are immediately bouncing off your site, that means if people are visiting your website and spending hardly any time on it, it could be that the landing page and the website doesn't match the ad. So a good thing to do is either try and match the colors between your ad and your landing page, or even the people who are in the ad and who the image is on the landing page. If the audience is confused by the web page or lack of congruency, so like I said, like if it's how'd you explain it? Like if the ad doesn't, I suppose it's kind of similar. Like if the ad doesn't match the landing page or it's not as obvious as it should be, then they could bounce off. And if they feel tricked or misled with the offer, so like let's say you're offering your 2 for 1 pizza, but you have to buy 7 pizzas and then the next offer is 2 for 1. Like that's misleading because that's not our 2 for 1 pizza offer. If they're not taking action, then it's not a good enough reason. So that's like our get a free pizza buy a pizza and get an extra topping. Landing page is too confusing, so just keep it simple. Like people skim read landing pages anyway. They don't read every single bit of text. So just keep it simple. Keep it very, very obvious where your call to actions are. And what I mean by call to action is like where your buttons to go to the next step are. So I just make it really obvious. They don't have to be massive. Just make it an obvious color that it stands out. And if your leads don't convert, so let's say you're doing all this, your ads are doing great, you have loads of leads coming in. It could just be, but they don't convert. It could be down to your sales process. You need to up-train your sales team, or that you need to get back to them faster. You need to get onto your leads faster. And you should really be, this should be something you do anyway, is, reworking or investigating your sales process to find bottlenecks, improve follow-up time. So, we know, and we've worked with people in the past who obviously we're delivering leads, but they follow up with them a couple of days later, and it's like, okay, that's not very good. It's not good enough because by then their interest and their urgency to actually want what you're offering is, it's constantly depleting. As soon as somebody enters their information, it's depleting. Their intent is depleting. So you want to get onto them as soon as possible to catch them and convert them to a customer. And obviously improve sales ability over the phone. So like if you have like a receptionist, or if you have or if the person who deals with the leads isn't asking the right questions or isn't qualifying the leads as well as they should be, then that needs reworking too. That needs looking at, because you don't want to lose good leads because they don't know how to chat on the phone, and you don't want to waste you don't want to waste people's time by not qualifying leads and still having to deal with them. Is that where? Oh yeah. So that's kind of like the last slide there. So just a few things to remember. Be patient, keep it simple, and your business will thank you for it. It's kind of like, it's a constant learning thing. Like, I'm still learning. It's not something that you're ever done with. And, it'd be boring if it was something that you're done with, because, there's always room for improvement. There's always things that you could do and test and try out and kind of like improve on, I guess is the word. Okay, so let me just jump back here. Oh, thanks very much for the comments, guys. That's very nice. Okay, yeah. And so what I'll do is just again, last one, just in case anybody hasn't already, just let me know. I'll put in where did that go? Oh yeah, so I just put in a message there. If anybody hasn't given their email already, they can either put it in the chat, or if they're not comfortable putting it in the chat, they can just use the link that I sent in the chat. I'm not too sure how I don't think I can highlight a message, but it's there anyway. It's from me, or it's from Republic of Work. And it's there. It's the socialenviro.ie/webinar free videos. You can put your email in there, and and after you put your email in, if you want to, you can schedule a call with me, and we can go over and help you kind of figure out this a bit more. Yeah, okay. That's pretty much it. I think we hit 1 hour pretty much exactly, which is great. But I'll stick around for any questions if anybody has any. If you want to just drop them in the chat, you can. Yeah, I'm all talked out at the moment. Oh, sure. There, it's kind of like it gets lost there a bit. Yeah, thanks for all the great feedback as well. I'm delighted that you've found some good you found some help with it. I know there was probably a lot of information there. I probably skimmed over things like for more than I would have liked to, but obviously we're trying to keep it in the hour and all that. But yeah, look, I'll put yeah, I'll make sure that everybody puts their email in and gets those videos anyway to help them set up. And yeah, of course, like there mightn't be any questions just because of how everybody's brain's probably fried. But if anybody does have any questions, just let me know and I can run through them. Thanks for any difference if we apply these to IG ads. Okay, so the question was like, is there any difference if we can apply these funnel tips and stuff like that to Instagram ads? And there isn't actually that much difference. Like Facebook and Instagram advertising is held under the same platform because Facebook own Instagram, and the fundamentals are the same. Like you still want to warm people up. Like I suppose there's differences between industries as well. Like if you're selling a car, it's very hard to just put like a car in front of someone and expect them to like become a lead and buy. There's probably a lot more kind of warming up that you need to do. And I suppose there's more touch points. The higher involvement the business or the buying decision is, the more touch points and the more trust that's going to need to build. But like if you're kind of like if it's a lower involvement decision, like lower involvement being like if it's like less expensive products that people buy online, or whether it's maybe something to do with like food or even like, I suppose I was going to say hairdressing, but people are very loyal to their hairdressers, so I'm not too sure about that. But there's not as much warming up to do. Like if you're a restaurant, then you can put like a very good offer out and still get a lot of return on Instagram or Facebook without having to go through every single funnel step. Like if it's kind of like a low involvement offer where it's kind of like there's not too much thinking about it, but it's just a great offer that people can redeem, then you won't need to put that much into it. And it will be the same on Facebook and Instagram. So hopefully that answers the question to some degree. But yeah, I'll stick around until about 10 past, so another 6 minutes. What are the real differences between Boost Post and Ads Manager? Okay, Paul. Yeah, no, great question. I'll actually just share my screen so I can go through them. How do I do that? There we are. So with the boosting post, so boosting post is really kind of I've kind of gone through this already, so I won't go through like each point again. But really, it's just the level of efficiency you want to run your ads in. Like boosting posts is great if you just want to get your ad in front of as many people as possible without really caring on how well the ad is going to perform. And I'm not saying that it's completely useless, because there's definitely been cases where it's performed well. But I suppose the point is that it could be performing better, and you could be setting your ads up for better success long term if you use the ads manager. Because like in the ads manager, you can select the different types of conversions that you want. You can retarget people. You can actually set your funnel up as you'd like it. So like you can actually retarget the different steps like we've kind of gone through, whereas you can't do that with boosting posts. But like if you are a business and you have no time to learn Facebook ads, then boosting posts is still, it's better than nothing. I suppose it's just the level of detail you want to run your ads in is the answer to that question. Any advice if we're to be pushing less fast moving consumer goods type of products, more personal one-to-one strategy? HK Kong, is that rather than fast moving consumer goods, and that you're saying like what you do if you're providing coaching or physiotherapy, language learning? Yeah. Okay. So for that kind of thing, like let's say for coaching, so like obviously, before people want to be coached by somebody, they, like we said, that there's that level of trust that they probably want to be built with. It's quite rare that somebody wants to just jump in with a random coach and say, okay, I want you to coach me. They probably want to see that you probably know what you're talking about and that you know there's a lot of value that you can bring to them. And by doing that is by building that relationship and by kind of going down that marketing funnel again. And the top of the funnel can just be like posting, like whether daily or weekly. I'd recommend daily, but if you can only do it weekly, then like weekly kind of like videos, like helping them, with the small points that you can give, the kind of like general advice, so that they can see that you know what they're talking about. And then say for the email side of it, where you're trying to get an email off them, maybe you have an ebook of like let's say your coaching is to do with how to become more self-disciplined, or how to be, maybe it's just like a personal growth coach or something. Then you can have like an ebook of like 10 steps to be more self-disciplined, or like or like 5 things to do every morning to get your day started right, that kind of thing, so that's you can start building that relationship, and then when they're ready, you're kind of like still giving that value to them, and then when they're ready and they want a life coach, that you can put that paid offering in front of them, and they already trust you. So if they're ready for it, they'll convert. Keenan, so you're just finishing college and starting a market role for financial planning, small media enterprise. How many ads should I run on social media each week, do you reckon? That is a very tough, vague question to answer, just because it's, there is no like right or wrong answer to it. Financial planning, I don't know. I mean, like it depends on like how many different things you want to test. I mean, and depends on what your goals are as well. Like if your business is to get messages or to get inquiries, then you could run several different types of messenger optimized campaigns, or you can run ads to your website, or you can run there's so many different things you can do that it's very hard to actually answer how many you should be running. I think maybe the better question is how much you should be putting into it. And like I said, like a good start is maybe €5 a day, just to see what sort of traction you can get. If they're open to putting more into it, then even better, because you'll get more. You'll build up more data quickly, more quickly, quicker. Grammar. But you kind of get what I mean. So it's more of a case of like try and understand what value a lead might be to your business, and then work back from there. So like let's say if a lead is worth like €1,000 to like a financial planning small SME, and your target lead acquisition cost is like, I don't know, maybe it's something between like €20-40, because you don't convert all the leads and you're trying to optimize for that. Then you want to see that, okay, we need to be getting our leads in on Facebook for less than €20 or €40, and that just comes down to testing then. Excuse me. KH Kong, so build up a lot of trust, relationship first. Like, yeah, definitely. I mean, like people, they kind of it's good. Like if we go back to the CD somebody come up and trying to sell their CD to you on like Patrick Street, you're not going to trust them. So you need to build up that trust. And the more trust you get, and I suppose it comes down, especially in the coaching profession as well, like the physiotherapy, language learning, I guess, to a certain degree as well. Like for the people that you build up and you build up the trust with, and you want to even just kind of like expand that trust to even their group of friends. So like, let's say you're getting your first few clients and you don't have all the money in the world to spend on Facebook ads. You should probably just focus on your clients and do as much as you can for that small group of clients that you have, and try and get referrals out of them. Try and just get their friends to follow your Facebook page, so that when you do post the free value and the free content, that they're seeing that as well. You're staying at the forefront of their minds, that if they know somebody or if they themselves are interested in your services, then you're right there front of their mind. They trust you already because of the value you're giving. Paul, are there any tips about how Facebook Operate works? Are you better to post a message then an hour or two afterwards use Boost Ads Manager once it has started to get traction, or does that make any difference at all? Just wondering. I haven't seen it make that much difference, to be honest. Like, social proof is a great thing. Like, it's still gonna. So I suppose the point here is that Facebook, when you post something organically, it's very hard to get a massive amount of traction out of it, because it's not that it can't happen, but just for the general posting, because Facebook, they have mainly 3 different weights. So a share weights higher than a comment, and a comment weights higher than a like. So the more shares you get, the more likely more people are going to see it. They're going to put it into their algorithm. They'll see, that this post is performing well, and that they'll show it to more people organically. But really, most posts only reach somewhere between like 4 and 7% of your audience. So if you have 1,000 people that like your Facebook page, you're only getting that seen by somewhere between 40 and 70 people. And then if those 70 or 40 to 70 people like, comment, or share, then they'll show it to a bit more people. And then if those new people do the same, then they'll show it to more and more. But you're kind of hoping for a snowball effect that rarely happens. But in terms of like the timing, I haven't really seen it make much difference. I suppose the only difference that it might make is that if you leave the post and it does do well with engagement, by the time you put money behind it, if it already has that social proof built up, then the new people who see it from your paid advertising might react to it in a more positive way, because if they see your post already has great interaction, it's kind of like like if you're going on holiday and you've never eaten there before and you're looking for a restaurant, which restaurant are you more inclined to go to? A full restaurant or an empty restaurant? It's probably the full restaurant, because you can see other people are liking that service, or they're engaging with that restaurant more. And it's the same with your kind of social posts. If somebody comes across a Facebook ad and it's got no likes, no comments, then they could be like, But if they come across like a Facebook ad that has gotten, like 20, like 50, 60, hundreds of likes, or, loads of comments as well, they're probably like, okay, this business, it must be popular. It's like a popularity contest, really. It's like, this business must be popular. I'm going to, this is kind of subconsciously, but I'm going to trust the group, or the herd mentality. Oh God, if it's kind of like a dodgy word at the moment, but like, I'm going to trust like the group mentality to that this business is trusted. I hope that kind of makes sense. But yeah, look, unless there's any other questions, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Like I said, for all those people who enter their email, I'll send those videos off to you by the end of the day. And I hope everybody enjoyed it and found some sort of value from it. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or follow any of my socials. I'm fairly findable. My name is James Kelly, just in case any of you forgot, because I haven't said it that much. But yeah, no problem. I'll just let me just find my LinkedIn link there, because that's probably where I post most. I should really have had all these links on hand, but I forgot. Profile. Okay. So yeah, if anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, that's my link going into the chat right now. And yeah, no, thanks a million everybody for the great feedback there as well. It's really nice.